Hi, it's Lyfe. So I'm on the journey of getting better at productivity in general, and I did a recent video called I tried bullet journaling for a year, and as much as I liked that, there were some faulties to it. So if you hadn't seen it, go check that out first, so this will make sense for this video. And because of that, I wanted to try something different, and hopefully it'll be fixing the issues I had with it. So I tried calendar blocking because it's been the constant big talk on social media, especially YouTube. Everyone talks about using calendar blocking as their lifesaver. They're like can't live without productivity tool. So I decided give it 30 days and see what will happen. So what is calendar blocking? Basically, from my understanding, is that you just block in the stuff that you want to do for your day, and then you just continue working on them until the block is done. And if you haven't finished with it, then you have towards like the end of the day where you want to have your buffer to play catch up or wrap things up from there, and then just call it a day. So for me, I wanted to see if this will actually keep me distraction free and hyper focused, because I tend to get distracted really easily, and I procrastinate mainly out of fear of getting things done, not because I can't do it, it's because I feel like that I'm not good enough to the quality that I want and the standard that I see it can be when I'm not. I'm constantly learning. So that's the thing about me. I didn't read any books while going into this. I don't even know if they even have a calendar blocking book. I don't even know who created this, but I kept seeing it on YouTube, so I decided to give it a go. I think I've seen 3 videos before I decided to do this challenge. What I wanted to see for this challenge is to see whether if notifications are actually the substitute that I need and it can replace my bullet journal. If it's great, then that's wonderful. If not, then I know what worked and what didn't. And you'll see through the pros and cons later in this video. So for my system, I decided to use iCalendar because I have my iPhone. So I decided to go with that since the app was already there, and because I never used it before, I decided why not give it a shot. I did put a buffer for every single day just to see if I needed it for like a wrap up or something, because I wanted to try it all the way of just like following the schedule one by one, and then if not, wrap up any loose ends and then just call it a day. I worked on anything that I listed on my calendar, and also I logged some days that I thought were most notable to me, because majority of the challenge were basically the same stuff over and over, so I'm not gonna give you the redundancy of every single day. So how I went for day 1 was that since I'm a morning person, I decided that at 6 o'clock it would give me time to walk my dog in the morning, get that situated before I actually work on something. I put it that by 6:45 my break will be walking the dog at that time, and then before that we'll try to get some any work or basically my morning routine, just to give me a strong foundation to proceed through the long day that's coming. And also because I started the calendar blocking, it also gave me a visual representation of how my day was going to be, which was actually a nice thing, because I'm a very visual person, and I probably said this over and over in my videos, but I've just been more aware of that, and that's something I wish I'd known when I was younger, because it made such a big difference of how I could have operate and experiment to get better at productivity, especially in school, because I was really bad at it. Some of the projects I started working on from my calendar, I ended up starting late because I know how to go into the bathroom, so that's the thing. I never micro-blogged for those times because when you have to go, you have to go. So it didn't make sense to put that, and also that kind of felt like micromanaging myself, and that didn't feel good, and I saw that unproductive. I decided that for the day 1 and for throughout the whole week, I was just gonna be really lax, just to see like how I adapted to the new system. And because I wasn't working for a job, it was actually more easier to do. I can't recall if I was still in school at this point. Probably my notes will have it, but I got to give myself some leeway of like messing up and not being full on hard myself if I don't get it right, So taking that pressure off my shoulders was actually beneficial for me. I also had to like adjust the blocks because I stare at the screen so long because my projects are done on the computer. My eyes were just like drying out. I'll sometimes get headaches because of my headphones compressing my ears, mainly my scalp. So I had to put in a break and then just come back to it. For my writing block, I had to sit for an hour, but then I brought it down to 30 minutes. The reason being was that my software that I was currently using was glitching. So I didn't anticipate that happening. So it sucked, but this is why I had the flexible schedule for the first week. For the buffer, towards the end of the day, I actually didn't use it at all because of all the things of my computer glitching, and I wanted to write, but at the same time I was in a hurry to write because I had no deadline for it. I felt that it's like, okay, I got at least something done for the day. For day 2, I originally was going to use the buffer, but then decided against it because that day I felt that I just wanted to have like a break day, kind of like a weekend, but it was a weekday when I did this, and I don't give myself many breaks to begin with. So I decided it's like, hey, have a chill day because I feel like I really needed the rest, and just did that. By day 3, seeing my schedule and adjusting it just made me more eager to get more stuff done, and got me my competitive streak again to where I wanted to like see how much I can get done in the amount of like 8-hour shift, or was it like a 10 to 12 hour thing? I can't remember. The time blocking just kind of stimulates me to reach my goals faster and wanted me to achieve it much quicker and get it done on that day. That way I can work on other things, especially for YouTube, building content and working on my other stuff that I had going on the day. By day 4, I noticed iCalendar was giving me issues, and I don't know why it was happening. It wasn't letting me expand the blog so I can see a much wider scale of like how much time do I have, because it's very just like crammed, jammed. I can't remember if I didn't know how to do the setting or they just like changed the iOS update to have it. Can't recall. I did this like last year, some kind of like vaguely remember of what happened and just going off by my notes. So for my week 1 overview, I decided to switch to Google Calendar, so that kind of took me a bit to learn. I've also decided to change the timing for my blogs to be at the time it started, not like 5 minutes before, because I noticed that it kind of like gave me like a scare because I don't hear sounds that often in my room. So when I'm in the focus and I hear something, it kind of just like startles me and it kind of takes me away from my concentration, and then I start like panicking. That's like, oh wait, I didn't finish this and I wanted to get this done before, because I didn't like to use the buffer. So for week 2, I installed the Google Calendar app on my phone and had it on my computer, so it synced better than iCalendar, but it did give me some issues of like the whole syncing on one and not going through the other. It was very weird. Like I would change something on the computer, but yet my phone wouldn't sync up unless I actually opened the app. So I found that very, very frustrating. Also, it took me a bit more of a learning curve to learn it, and I still didn't know like every single thing. But also it was kind of jarring to see something that from iCalendar was so simple interface wise to Google Calendar was more complex, to where I didn't even know where to start, and it just kind of paralyzed me. So by the end of week 2, I ended up learning how to set notifications, switching some events to starting at the same time, or others be like 5 minutes beforehand, depending on what it was. Waking up on time versus sleeping in definitely affected how my day was gonna be, because I ended up moving a lot of blocks if I ended up sleeping in late, versus if I woke up on time, I was able to get the stuff done at that exact time or maybe even earlier, because some blocks I kind of overestimated and it turned out being way less than what I needed, which was a good thing. And then others need to expand more because I underestimated it. And also like empty blocks that I had, I basically just put in for my bullet journal so that I can know that the key things I need to get done for that day. I also need to give myself a 15-minute break in between these blocks, because sitting in the chair for so long just like hurts me, and also I needed my eyes to relax and be away from the screen for a bit, just to give it a refresh, but also give me time to give me like a break, get a water break, get something done in between. That way when I go back to another block, I'm way focused and not heavy fogged. I learned that like for filming and editing, they take like a whole day. Filming takes me a whole day versus editing kind of gives me a half day depending on how long the videos are and depending if I had any computer issues, alongside like the making the thumbnail and then exporting and all that. Because exporting at the time I had always took such a long time, so I really couldn't work on anything else on my computer unless that was like fully rendered out. This is something that I've learned through the week 2 of calendar blocking. Now when it comes to blocking, it's basically a 30-minute to an hour of working on any project that's very extensive, like making a YouTube video, and just helps me like keep my mind centrally focused on that and get everything done I need to do in that time frame. Walking my dog, he kind of changes his mind of when he wants to be walked at. Some mornings I found that I had it blocked up for like 15 minutes, and then there were some days where he wanted to be outside for like 30 minutes to like an hour on the first morning, and I don't know why he does that, but I can't control that. By week 3, I found that working on harder stuff back to back actually was a good thing, because it gave me all my energy used up for the morning, and then the afternoon I was basically just drained, and it just gave me more time to relax. The more I got more stuff worked on the morning, and then afternoon I kept the much leisure that I wanted and just unwind and recharge for the next day to do the same thing over and over. Also, this is a time where the weather season started to change to much cooler, and my dog likes to go out longer walks because of that, because in Florida it is extremely hot and humid, and you have to be careful with the roads, otherwise the dog's paws can bleed out and blister. So he's even aware himself that he does not like to be outside too long because it's just too hot, and he just starts panting like crazy. Sometimes I would stop a block like in between because, for instance, Fridays is my usual laundry, and I had to keep an eye on that, otherwise I would have to do the whole thing over and over, and I don't want to waste power and time just doing that. So whenever the laundry just beep, then I would just stop what I was doing and then just go move it and then go back to my project, or just take a little break if thing was wrapping up real soon. That way I can get that done and out of the way. I also decided to change the buffer to a later time because I wanted to see if I can get more stuff depending on what I would feel like doing. By week 4, I decided to update my calendar day by day because I noticed that going by the weeks never went as planned. That's what I've noticed about myself. Nothing goes the way I want it to. I ended up getting rid of the buffer block because I actually didn't use it. I think once or twice, but I can't recall. I just found that by the end of the day I just got drained and I just couldn't find myself to work on anything else. I also ended up accidentally deleting some calendars because I was trying like this new method by, was it Rowanna's blocking method? I discovered that you can change colors on calendar blocking, and that kind of like gave me a visual representation of what I need to like prepare mentally for. So just having that color set up just kind of switched my kind of flipped my brain like a switch. That week was so chaotic because my sleeping schedule was so off. I don't know why, but I wasn't that hard on myself either, so that was like the bonus. So the things I was doing wrong during this challenge was that I was setting unrealistic standards of getting things done the same way every single day. Bad weather affected how I was gonna get stuff done, because if we lose power I can't work on anything. When it came to that, I decided to just like take it easy the rest of the day, because weather, you can't control it, and also if I lost power once, that means I'm probably gonna lose it more. So that was an inconvenience. Oversleeping was another issue. I don't remember if my diet was like doing bad or something, or I was just getting sick, but my system of sleeping was just off, and that really took a hinder on me. Thinking that I need to be productive every single day and not giving myself break days, because at the end of the day we are not robots that we can just like go on like 24/7. we need to rest. And if we don't rest, we can actually harm ourselves in the end. And working for like full days, I didn't need to do like full, like an 8 or 10 hour work shift on myself. I could do like 4 or 5 hours and consider be done for the day. So the pros of this, it kept me from being procrastinating. That's like another struggle that I have myself. And mindlessly waste time on the internet because I tend to drift off constantly. So having a block set to tell myself this is what I need to get done in this hour kept me center focus somewhat. I ended up getting a lot of work that I originally thought was overwhelming to me, but breaking it down by days and by chunks of the hours or 30 minutes showed that I was overestimating of how long things actually took. It actually helped me write stuff less on my bullet journal. That way it made it clutter free on it and just helped me focus on the key things I need to get done. Because I noticed like the more stuff I write on it, the more clutter it brings out, and then it just sets my brain into overdrive, even if like majority of it is just the easy stuff. Now the con is that when I had to update the calendars, the syncing was my issue. I don't know why, but you have to open the app in order to sync. But if you have it on multiple devices like an iPad, phone, one can update, the other doesn't unless you open the app as well. So that was counterproductive. And this is not only just for iCalendar, Google Calendar does the same thing as well. Pushing blocks later in the day because I underestimated what the day was going to be like, or just things that happen because of life, that type of thing. Constantly moving my schedule and kind of end up micromanaging myself. That really made me more stressed out. Micromanaging myself was not a good thing because it just made me very obsessive of like getting done every single minute, and I wasn't living and having a healthy balance of work, life, and play. So this was my experience with calendar blocking for 30 days. And would I say that was it a game changer for me? No, but I would say that it's good for having to set up appointments, like going to doctors, or like having like a scheduled time to meet with my friends. Those were actually good, and to have me like a jingle reminder, because a bullet journal can't do that. But other than that, I mainly just go back to my bullet journal because it kind of just sets me up a limit of what I need to get done, and then just posting on the calendar of what I have up for that day to match it, and then just adjust from there. So this is my experience. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.